password? Diane,
Diane, did
I don't
the
even see.
password change?
mine doesn't work and hers isn't either.
I'm using my phone
I'm about to.
hotspot.
Do you have the password?
I did, it was just programmed
I'm not
in.
gonna ask her.
Can we get the admin one?
Yeah, I would think so.
We're on the council.
Yeah, we're on the council, we should.
Ask for the admin.
If it's better, if it's not, I don't really care, but
Pretty happy with what.
we'll see. I'll just have Rachel help me get something.
It's not a guest anymore.
I was panicking because just yesterday I was down by Tooele Stanley.
You're right.
It's Plain City or Plain
The day
City
when I was
admin?
here, it was still pulling up guests, but now it's not.
Yeah.
Rachel, you gotta help us log on then. Cause guest doesn't even, there's,
There's no guest anymore. She said it's just Plain City. Let's see.
Spot for now.
She texted me the password once.
And just explain this to the yeah, I think we're doing good for at least 5 years.
Yeah, this is what it should be, but it's not working.
oh, that's right, it was pretty basic. So is that what it is on the admin?
Not on the ad.
Okay, try that.
It's not working for me.
Same with mine's.
It is that.
It's not working.
Did they
Is
get
that
the
the
admin one or not?
Is that the admin one or is that?
There's
There's
none
no
that says
guest one.
guest listed.
Oh,
It's
wait,
just,
it pulled up this time. Let's see if I can get mine to work.
do we? Do we really?
It
Have to
depends
love
on the
it.
day.
You gotta figure it out. What's going on without us?
Stacy, we didn't do anything different.
It's a total.
Maybe.
Like it's not even showing up here.
Work. They're little, if you need one.
Well,
Adam.
we want the big ones.
Oh, but you need a little one just to.
We
Adam-
like a little one.
Adam just mentioned that he wanted one.
So you have to take
Pick
it
it
out.
whenever you're in the debate.
Mine's not even showing up Plain City admin or Plain City anymore.
Right, mine, that one doesn't even show up anymore. So
Plain
it's already-
City's not even showing up anymore.
Plain City guest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plain
it's
City
all-
anything, it's not there.
It's good.
I mean, I can do ask to join a network. Let's see, ask.
And actually, because little sister might be even busier.
Well, Stacy's the whiz, not me.
Long time no see, man.
But I didn't
Got a
have.
mission call to where?
Asked you guys about it once here the other day. I could have got it set up. I just thought it was my computer acting funky.
All there is Plain City and Plain City admin.
Did you try the admin one too?
No.
I didn't. Maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, try that. But that's a whole different password in the past, so.
But they started with the,
You tried just Plain City.
Yeah.
pretty good behind. They started
Join this network.
at the beginning.
It's a very, yeah. It's the weather.
It happens, man.
Nope.
Try to think.
We don't have another.
Right.
We don't have.
Well, I've got mobile network for my phone at least.
Probably not much different than life down the street from you guys. It's
I can pull up the stuff on my phone if I absolutely need to. It's kind of a shorter agenda we got for me.
I noticed you guys had a big gathering, but I didn't realize that was the night you were doing your,
Read something off of it.
it's cool. That's what that looks like to have all those merit badges. Huh? Amazing. It's truly amazing. Yeah. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
Out of my cul-de-sac, and I don't know.
Going?
Oh, it was good. On my way over here, and I think my truck
serious?
Yeah, it's on the side of the road, so I had to leave my daughter's car. And
Uh-oh.
She's got on that thing.
160. Something happened. There's oil.
Oil cooler rupture,
I don't know.
maybe?
Okay.
That
Robert.
sucks.
Just
Yeah.
light came on. It's like engine oil.
Yeah. And my son's like, make sure you tell
Are you gonna be able to tow it home, or what are you gonna do?
Well, it's just right in front of my brother-in-law's house on my street, so it's right there. But
when I told him, he's like, yeah, that sounds
Side
like
of the road, oil everywhere. Oh, hey, it's time to start, isn't it?
yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, let's
She's
go
gonna
ahead
need
and
to
get
take
started
pictures. Usually
tonight.
Jan,
Welcome
she's
to
not
our
here.
Plain City Council meeting on the 5th of March, 2026. Welcome all of you here today. We've got a few probably joining us online as well. We appreciate their attendance. I'm Mayor Phil Meyer, newly elected mayor, been in a couple of months now. I'd like our city representatives to introduce themselves. I don't think this is our favorite part of the meeting, but I'm going to start with you, Brandon. Just tell, people want to know who you are. Okay.
Sure. I am the city attorney. My name's Brandon Quinney.
I'm used to it now. I'm ready for it, so we're good this time. Yeah, I'm Adam Favero, the council member here, one of the 5, and I'm over the Public Works. My responsibilities are rather, Dan's over Public Works, staff-wise. My responsibilities are over Public Works, the Wasatch Front Regional Council, and the dump, and the buildings, so.
I'm Rachel Beal. I'm in charge of the America 250 celebration for this year, the Western Weber CTC, and the emergency manager doing the CERT training program.
Councilmember Jed Jenkins, I'm assigned to the WACOG group, assigned to the fire department, also Mayor Pro Tem, and assigned to mosquito abatement, Weber County mosquito abatement, and to kind of help out with everything I can for the Planning Commission. I think that's it.
Councilmember Luigi Panunzio. I'm over public safety, animal control, and Plain City irrigation.
Jan Wilson is absent right now? Okay. All right, she's this seat right here. Okay. Stacy?
Stacey Adams, office specialist.
Lieutenant.
We gotta get a seat for Dan up here sometime.
He talks enough.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We will first, let's see, did I skip something?
Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance? We haven't done that yet, have we?
Nope.
Okay.
It's at the top of the agenda.
Oh, she is, okay. I don't have that in front of me.
It's
Who's given?
I don't recall to order.
It's me.
Okay, Councilman Bill, would you lead us?
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I have the prayer, so I'll go ahead and offer that. Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful for the opportunity to meet here for this city council meeting. Grateful for the residents of Plain City for the opportunity to conduct this business as city leaders. We are grateful for the moisture we've received recently and for all the many favors and blessings that extend into our lives. Grateful for this free country of ours, for this celebration of 250 that reminds us of how wonderful this country's been to each of us in our lives, and how what a great blessing it is to belong to the United States of America. We again are grateful for the opportunity to serve here, help us to be guided and directed to do the things that are in the best interest of Plain City and its residents, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we will now go to the approval of minutes.
Does anyone have any
I wasn't here,
corrections?
so.
Yeah, same.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Corrections?
I didn't have any corrections. I don't know if anybody else did.
All right, then I will make a motion to approve the minutes for February 19th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carries for minutes. Okay. Next, we'll have public comments. You're welcome to come up to the podium. We prefer that. State your name, address. You will have 3 minutes. I will time you. But feel free to come up and give any public comments that you'd like at this time. Okay, all right, we'll move past the public comments to Planning Commission report. Jared Ma is with us. Thanks for coming.
Hello, good to be here tonight. So we had an unusual planning commission. It was 2 days ago. Last Thursday, when we were supposed to meet, we did not have a quorum. So we had to reschedule because there was a lot on our docket that we needed to take care of. And we did it on Tuesday. So what we discussed on Tuesday, we had a public hearing for rezone from A2 to C3 for a possible shooting range near our Plain City landfill, followed by a discussion and a motion to rezone that property. And we denied that rezone based upon two things. There's more on our motion, but the two things that are critical were, first, that the application that they had submitted was for a total of 50 acres, where the shooting range itself was only 26. So we wanted that cleaned up, and also there was a lot of discussion about whether or not that was appropriate next to the landfill, and the commission did not feel like having a C3 zone next to the landfill, which is a C3 zone, but extending it out closer to residential zones was an appropriate planning move. We discussed some options with them to proceed, and they will probably be back at our planning commission and further discussion.
What are their options to proceed?
Well, it's going to take us getting into our ordinance, and if the commission and city council are for this, we'd have to look into our agricultural zones as well as our parks and open spaces and see if a shooting range is an appropriate use for possibly those two zones. The commission is got differing opinions on that. That's something we're welcome to discuss, but I didn't seem favorable at the time.
That was a conditional use, right?
Yes, we'd have to go in, we'd have to look at our conditional uses for those zones and see if that was appropriate. It's gonna take some research in the 2 days since I've looked into the state code as well as the county code about what they allow and how they do it, and we'll discuss it as a commission, and you'll see it coming down.
Does the shooting range fit better into a commercial zone?
I would say yes. That is my opinion as a commissioner. I would say it fits better in a commercial zone. After I look at the counties and I see that's kind of how they've configured it. Also, I would lean even more toward that myself. So, but I don't know if I am not perceptive to putting it in a C2 zone. I feel like having a shooting range in a C3 zone is appropriate, and the C2 zone to act as a buffer. It's kind of a less industrial type of a zone, but as a buffer to that between the C3 and the residential, if you will. So
And the C2 is what they're proposing, or they
They were proposing a C3.
C3.
Because that is the only zone that allows a shooting range in it per our ordinance, which we just rewrote, so.
Jared, you said after looking at the counties? Are you saying multiple counties, or are you saying our
Weber
county?
County.
Weber County shooting.
Yeah, I looked at Weber County's ordinance regarding shooting ranges. They do have some information. The state also has a state
Okay.
code regarding that too, so.
Yeah, okay.
And it aligns more with the C3, right? Sorry.
Yes, I believe it does. I'd have to get into it further than that to actually give you a better recommendation on that. That's what we
Did you
intend to do.
amend the ordinance because of this entity?
Did we amend for the shooting range?
For the C3?
That was last year, and we looked into the shooting range for all 3 commercial zones, and we felt like it was appropriate for the C3 zone, only the C3 zone at the time.
So it's just a matter of you don't think that you want to rezone to it? C3.
Right. And if you look into our conditional uses, I mean, we have a lot of things in there. I think someone was in the fur manufacturing business. There's a lot of fur, was it cicadas? Is that what they call those? I can't remember, but it's all over our ordinance about the use of that. So I'm thinking somebody at one point in time did have that. But, you know, from time to time as a commission, we do look at those and see what's appropriate. I think in our ordinance regarding shooting ranges at the time, the only thing related to a shooting range was an indoor archery range. So that wouldn't fit for an outdoor range, and that's why we kind of had to dive into it last year.
Thank you.
Okay, you bet.
Oh, and I think I listened to the meeting a little bit the other night, Jared. It sounds like the applicants seem to me like they're getting a little bit frustrated with the back and forth a little bit. So we do need to figure something out one way or the
I
other.
could see that. I've had several conversations with them where I kind of said I don't see this being a favorable outcome for you, with regards to that. But they wanted to pursue it.
Yeah.
And as they came into the commission, that was the consensus with the commission, as we had discussions with them in the past as well. We did go through and say, you can go through this. This is how you can do it. But, based on the vote of the commission. Now, it's going to come to you guys on the denial, and you have the final decision as the land use authority. So you can take our denial and do with it what you feel is appropriate. But that was our recommendation to you, was to deny that rezone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there was also a lot of discussion to look at it with a condition, as Jared stated before, as a conditional use in the ag zone that it's currently zoned, I believe, right? And
Yeah.
so I guess, to me, I want to be careful that we're not misleading people back and forth and just dragging it out.
Mm-hmm.
If we want it, we want it. If we don't, we don't. We just need to figure it out.
And typically what we do, what I've done in technical reviews is tell them straight up that I don't see this as a favorable option. More often than not, they pursue it,
Yeah, okay.
so. We also had a public meeting for the rezone of a property on North Plains City Road. And that was going from an RE 22 and RE 18.5. That was recommended to you. We did recommend that rezone. We also had a rezone of another property going from AG to 18.5. We set a public hearing for that, and then we discussed the Kelly's Cove conditional use agreement with the senior housing overlay, which we denied as well. So, and is coming to you as well. And the reason for the denial is we looked into our ordinance. We just felt like what was being proposed was not appropriate for that area based on what we saw with the zones around it and how it was oriented. And as well as any kind of public amenities that we could see, we felt like the amenities served more that one entity and not the entire city as a whole. So those were the reasons we denied that. Again, that's going to come to you, and our recommendation will, and you guys can either revise it or deny it, I guess. We are opening up our senior housing ordinance. We're trying to get that more aligned with our residential overlay and kind of get the verbiage, the process. I mean, we've talked to Brandon a little about that to try and get the process more in line with what we want to see with regards to the submittal process and how that goes through. So we will be working on that and getting that up and going. In addition, we talked about a public hearing for a meeting house for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on North Plain City Road. We did approve a new site plan for a community clubhouse at Brindley Acres and did a lot line adjustment. We recommended a lot line adjustment for a parcel located at 2500 North, 5100 West, as well as a property on 1975 owned by some individuals that are looking to subdivide as well. So it was a lengthy meeting, and we were grateful to have a quorum. We've had a sick planning commission for one reason or another, but not me, but I've been fine.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, right? Anyway, that's how our meeting went the other day.
You guys planning on attending the general plan meeting?
Oh, absolutely. It's during our night. So I think most of the commission will be there. All right.
Hey, we appreciate you.
All right. Any questions that I need to take back, requests that I need to take back to the commission?
I have maybe one question and a couple of when's the, I can't remember the name of the subdivision that was coming to us. Is that on the next meeting? What is it, Jared? The senior overlay?
The Kelly's Corner?
Yeah.
Kelly's Cove, excuse me. Kelly's Corner is over there. Kelly's Cove
Is
the
that
name.
on?
That will come to you, I don't know when.
Oh, okay.
Well, they still have to recommend it, right, Diane? So, or they still have to vote on our recommendation per se, right? Okay. Right.
Yeah, I think we're waiting at this point on the city council level for an application from the developer for an appeal or a recommendation from
Correct.
the planning commission. Well, the planning commission needs to make a decision.
We made a
They did.
You did. So
Yeah.
then we'll put that on the agenda.
For city council.
Yeah, so if it's a denial of the conditional use portion of it, I guess this is kind of where we're talking about process, right?
Yeah, and as part of our motion, we did put the reasons why we recommended denial to it, so.
Okay, I think just, there's kind of two ways to do it underneath the code. The best way I would recommend, based on the procedural issues we're having with the current code, is to have it be reviewed as a zoning, a rezone. It's been processed by the planning commission as a conditional use, and now it comes to the city council as a legislative action for the rezone. And so we'll consider it with that. But I think that's the first thing we can do, and then if the city council just denies it on the legislative front, we don't even have to consider the conditional use part. Yeah, I think that's the first step we'll take. Because it is a rezone, it's an overlay zone, but it's processed by the planning commission as a conditional use.
And that's what part of the ordinance that we're trying to clean up is.
Trying to clarify it.
How that works and maybe even remove the conditional use and like our residential overlay.
Yeah. I think where we're trying to head is just processing it like a rezone application and not a conditional use. So that's what I would recommend.
Just one more thing that we are discussing as a commission, we are also going to open up our DADU ordinance take a look at that with regards to possibly adding some sizing restrictions to that DADU, as well as maybe even the vicinity to the primary structure, and possibly defining what a subordinate structure means. I've gotten some other information on that from our building inspector about that. I mean, we could reiterate that in our ordinance. I think that's the appropriate thing to do, but we'll discuss it as a commission. Okay?
I just had one, the only other thing I wanted to comment is, yeah, the senior overlays. I think we've talked about it before. I've brought it up. Maybe we'll have just looking into it and cleaning it up a little bit.
Yeah. And you know, the residential overlay works good. We got it really refined. I think it would be good to get it along that same format, you know, to make it more clear to developers about the process and what they need to submit and when. So we'll work on that. Okay.
Okay.
Look forward to seeing you guys on the 12th, right?
We'll be there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I have a prior commitment, darn.
Well, thank you very much. Let's move to the next item here. So we have a special presentation for Miles Lamb with us today from Western Weaver CTC. Rachel Bill is representing our council and CTC and presenting this award, so.
I am.
Come on up.
Do you want the microphone? Rachel, do you want me to take pictures?
Oh, Jan's gonna get. Jan showed up. Yeah, smile, man. A photogenic face.
Yeah, I'll get out of the way.
Now you're making me nervous. Jan's gonna try to get me in the
Hello. I've got to talk right into it. Okay. Nicole Blanche from the Western Weber CTC would normally be the one that reads this, but she has a special family event going on. Her son's going on a mission and is finding out where he's going today. So she had to be at that today. So otherwise she would be here presenting this for you. So you're stuck with me. And you're probably so tired of being recognized for this. I saw you on KSL as well. You did an amazing job, and I heard that there's like only 600 and something people out of over 30 million that have completed the scouting program that has done what he's done. He has earned all 141 scouting patches that you can get in the scouting program, including his Eagle Scout, which is amazing. So we are here to present him the Grit Award from Western Weber CTC. And, oh yes, please. I've got all the things, and I have to like read what we're doing too. So Miles Lamb, a senior at Fremont High School and a resident of Plain City, made the decision as a young Cub Scout to earn all 141 merit badges offered by Scouting America. Over the next 6 years, Miles dedicated thousands of hours and showed amazing tenacity, determination, and grit to make that goal a reality. Miles is a wonderful example of what you can accomplish when you set your sights on a goal and refuse to be deterred. He joins an elite 644 scouts out of around 130 million youth who have taken part in the scouting program since its foundation to accomplish this feat. I did the math, that's like 0.000008% of scouts that have done this accomplishment. In addition to recognizing this amazing accomplishment, we want to wish him support in accomplishing all of his future goals, as well as looking forward to seeing what he accomplishes in the future. Well, you've got cameras everywhere, but first, will you tell us a little bit about what you did to do all this?
Yes, the answer is yes. I mean, scouting is one of those things, so merit badges are in plenty of different categories, so you're not necessarily restricted to, here. I was told I have to talk into the mic, but all the way in. There we are. Anyway, so merit badges come from like pretty much any like thing that you can think you can do. There's anything from like engineering, you can do water sports. So really, you're kind of not limited to what you like when you're asked like what did you do. It's kind of not a great like not a bad question, but it's just like where do I begin? I've kind of been there, done it all, seen it all, but yeah, plenty of different memories and different places that you get to go, get to see. So kind of just been everywhere, and it was fun. I feel like that would be easier if I have children. It's like one of like 3 instead of 141. Favorite merit badge. I don't know. Water sports was pretty fun. It was one of the last ones I had to get. I got it probably 2 months before I aged out, so that one was cool. That was fun. But I don't know. I don't think I really have a favorite. They're all fun in their own way. So.
So you've been working 6 years for this goal. What's your new goal? Do you have one, or are you just like, I'm taking a break?
Taking a break. If I come up with another large goal, I might kill myself. Not like trying to finish it.
Well, that's true, but you're gonna finish your mission, so.
That's true. So probably that.
We are extremely proud of you. Thank you for taking the time to come up
Thank
here.
you.
And he's also on the Fremont tennis team as well. Busy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here, I gotta shake your hand. I have to shake your hand. And again, my son says hi.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations again, Miles. Let's see. Next, we have our discussion on review of commercial business license renewal of Brazilian Paradise. There was a lot of information again in your packets. I'm sure you've taken some time to look through that. We'll just start a discussion on that. If you have any questions.
The only thing I would ask is if we have a little, maybe Stacy, a summary of what you learned since the last meeting.
Stacy, he wants to know
Sorry,
if
my mic was cutting out.
right, or give us a little input on what you've
Any new
learned.
information since the last we talked about this?
You saw her memo, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she did contact West Haven, Roy City, Far West, Harrisville, local commissary, O-Town Kitchen. Is there anything else you want to add there?
I just reached out, kind of asking them their process, and kind of the gist that I got back is most cities don't have food trucks business licenses within their city.
Right.
That they're usually licensed out of where the commissaries are, and that's where the food trucks are parked, so.
I actually spoke to a food vendor, and that's exactly what they have told me. I had some contacts from previous, and they said the same thing, that their food trucks aren't at their residence house. They are wherever their kitchen is at. So that's not real helpful, but that's.
So, I mean, I did look at the home
that doesn't work.
occupation code book.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of reviewed these. There's a couple that stood out. And this is chapter 13 of our code book on home occupations. It talks about conditions, and the first one listed is only persons who are bona fide residents of the premises shall be engaged in the occupation. And I think that you have other employees, and so I'm not sure. Do you have other employees?
First, I'd like to know is, oh, there we go. My counsel here. Is he able to hear us?
Can you hear us online?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
So did you hear the question?
I did hear the question, and I know the question was about the home occupation license. And just as I've been looking through your code, the Plain City Code, there is a provision that deals specifically with mobile food vendors, right? Which is under Chapter 10, which is the commercial licensing. It's Chapter 10, 6A, 4C. There's a section in the commercial licensing that deals specifically with mobile food vendors. And if you go down under then subsection 4 and subsection E of that, right, it talks about this very situation of overnight parking in residential zones, saying that a mobile food vendor is only allowed to park overnight in residential zones where the mobile food vendor operator has a home occupation business license for operation as a mobile food vendor. And so at least this provision would seem to say that if that is what Jake is doing, is parking his vehicles at his home, then the home occupation business license is the license that would be appropriate for that. And I think is the way to avoid all of these issues is that that's what he's using the home for, and that's it's the place where he parks his trucks, and then he goes other places to actually transact business.
But I think what the mayor was mentioning, that if you do go for that license under that ordinance, then it's basically only family that can be part of the business. And I think that you mentioned at the last meeting that there were multiple employees and they were parking at your house too. So I'm assuming that all those employees aren't family. So am I understanding what you were saying correctly?
Yeah, the code says only persons who are bona fide residents of the premise shall be engaged in the occupation. And that's the first, regulation that's listed here. So I'm just asking, I think you have multiple employees, is that correct?
No, he has other people that work for him, yes. And if the problem is parking, I think there's ways to work around that as well. I don't think you can, because the only purpose of the home occupation license is so that he has a place where he can park his trucks. They don't work at his house. He's not running a business out of his house. This provision of the code would say, hey, you can park your trucks here at your home, but you have to have this home occupation license to do that.
Okay, and letter H, it says the addition of off-street parking facilities on the premise beyond that normally required for resident uses is prohibited. Parking of automobiles generated by the home occupation shall be confined to existing residential parking, except that one parking place may be allowed on the street 60 foot wide or wider, provided that there is at least 35 feet of unobstructed and unrestricted frontage on the street in front of the dwelling used by the home occupation. So, I mean, it pretty well spells out one vehicle that would be allowed on the street, 35 feet clearance on both sides of that vehicle. I'm not sure, I mean, I've seen pictures that show that you have multiple vehicles in front of a residential area, and I don't think that's in keeping with this.
I'm looking at 10-6A-4 as well. It appears that this applies to neighborhood commercial zones, C1. And that mobile food vendors are permitted under that particular zone. And I guess, the argument here is mobile food vendors can operate throughout the city, but with restrictions. So I'm just curious, I guess to your council, how you might interpret 10-6A-4 when it's under the neighborhood commercial zone where the trucks are being parked in a residential zone. How do you extend these provisions to a residential zone?
Well, the only way that I'm extending it to the residential zone is because the code here talks about that specifically, about the food trucks being parked in a residential zone, and saying the way that they do that is through the home occupation license. That's the only way that it's permitted.
But he
So
doesn't
I'm-
qualify for a
Right.
home business license. For several
and-
reasons.
And so I understand that's what you're saying, and so I understand that your decision is going to be that he's denied all of that license, and that's fine. We'll just go another route to deal with it. I think it's inappropriate, and I think it's wrong what you're doing, but we have ways to deal with that, so that's fine.
You have any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Well, real quick, I guess I do have it. So, if I remember right, from the last meeting, we talked about, Mayor, what you brought up, the multiple food trucks was stated, and also we talked a little bit tonight about multiple employees parking, whether it's on the street or wherever. I don't know if it matters per the code, at least what you just read. And then also the parking on the sidewalks. There were several things that we talked about. Is that still the case? Or have things changed since the last time we talked?
Is that a question directed at me or to the council? I'm sorry, I can't tell.
Oh, no, to you or your client here, yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a license to operate currently, so he's not doing anything other than having the food trucks parked at his home.
So trucks, so you just answered one of my questions,
He has
thank
two.
you.
Yes, he has two.
Yeah. It was just a question. You could have answered it differently, but that's okay. I'll just assume nothing has changed by your response.
I'm sorry, could you not hear me?
No, I just asked a few questions and you skated around it a little bit there, but that's
I believe
okay.
he answered the question.
Yeah, we're good.
So again, I mean, I don't think it's ever been a matter of, we're not supporting your business, it just doesn't fall in line with the whole occupation, my thoughts. And if you could answer, it says one person, and that's not what you're doing, you have multiple trucks, it doesn't fall into this home occupation code book as well, so I just don't know what else.
One question, if I may. So essentially, you're saying a food truck, to be able to have a business license here, you're restricting any employees. Is that what you're saying?
If you want a home occupation,
So if you want
We're
a
not saying
business
you can't have
license,
a business outside of a home occupancy level, you could go anywhere you want and run your business. But if you want to run it and have your business in the middle of a subdivision, you're gonna have to abide by this code.
okay, but what you're saying is to get a business license as a food truck from Plain City, you cannot have employees. The council is restricting that the food truck cannot have any employees.
No,
That's the way it's written.
you can't have a home business license and have employees
Outside of the home.
outside of the home. That's per,
That seems like
That's just
extreme.
it's a restriction on the residential.
yeah, exactly, it's a home,
Well, the residential
Business
zone
license.
talks about it. In the home occupancy license, it says mobile food vendors can park in a residential zone, overnight parking.
That's
Yeah.
people coming from the outside.
I don't know where you're getting that from. Where, does it say that in the code?
It does to me.
and
Where?
it says,
10-6A-4, which applies to the neighborhood commercial zone. It does allow for a mobile food vendor to operate in residential zones on private property with written permission from the property owner and notice provided to property owners within 200 feet. And then it also says permitted to operate between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., which, if you take those together, can be interpreted to mean that if you're going to a wedding, for instance, in someone's backyard, you're permitted to go to that residence and park your truck and serve food at that wedding between 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. but it does not, I cannot read in here that you're allowed to do overnight parking and storage of your business equipment, including the trailers and trucks.
Subsection E, overnight parking in residential zones shall only be allowed to park overnight in residential zones where the mobile food vendor operator has a home occupation business license.
Are you in chapter 13?
That's the exact,
But you don't
That's the exact
qualify for a home occupation
because
business.
basically you're saying you're restricting food trucks from not having any
No, we're
employees.
basically saying that if you have a home business license.
I don't wanna argue.
No,
but I
I'm
will-
just saying, he's told you that the home business license has to be family. Is that correct, Phil? Is that what it says? Read that again.
Yeah, it says, only persons who are bona fide residents of the premises shall be engaged in the occupation.
They're not engaged in the occupation because and I'll just make this my last point because I really don't want to argue. And you can direct questions to council, but employees are not engaged in my business at my home. They're engaged in business where we go to sell. That is where we operate. We don't operate out of my house.
Okay, so that was my question when your council didn't answer the question. I asked if you guys were parking your employees' cars at your residence. And I thought in our last meeting you said yes. Today he made a comment about how the license is not valid or whatever, which didn't answer the question. So can you answer that, or can?
I'll just restate what he said because we don't have a business license right now because it's been revoked. We are not doing anything.
Right, but in the past, all the facts that you brought to us in our first meeting, was that one of them? That's what I'm asking.
Is what one of them?
Were your employees
Do you
parked
have
at
employees
your
parking at your house?
house?
The employee, if that's your only, like, hang up here, I mean, there are ways that we can work around that, yeah. So instead of just saying, like, we're not gonna give you a business license, maybe there could be like, okay, well, maybe the employees that come to go to events don't park at the house. I'm willing to work around that, that's something we can do.
Right, and that was my question, that's why I asked it, and I was expecting a little bit different answer so I could figure it out in my mind. What is it that you're not meeting? Because in the last meeting, I tried to talk to you guys about what we need to do to get you to meet this, because the mayor already stated it, and I'll state it again. We are not trying to put someone out of business. And I know it feels like that, and I get it. But we just want to see what you're not meeting to see if there's a way to meet it. Jan mentioned that in the last meeting.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out. But if there's things that you're really not going to be able to meet, you're not going to be able to meet them. And that is not opinions or arguing back and forth, or we disagree. That is the facts of the code. That's all we're saying.
And I appreciate that, and as council stated, what we believe is that there is a way to avoid all this, and that is by the home occupation license. Now, and you said now, employees, you cannot have employees, okay, but employees are not engaging in the house, exactly.
Okay.
You cannot have employees in the house, we're not. And if that's, your hangup is that they're parking at my house, we can find a way to not do that.
Not have.
Well, just for the record, my hangup is anything where you're not meeting the code, right? That's maybe one of them, but there's more than one truck, and it seems like you can
There's
only allow
problem.
one truck. Sounds like, I don't have them all memorized, but it sounds like it has to be family members. I don't know what else there is there to talk about. I'm sure there's other things, but we need to make sure you're meeting all that. So when, we all know this came from complaints, a lot of it. It came to our attention. We need to make sure you're meeting that so we can say they meet the code, and so then we have something on the other side to keep them off your back. But if you're breaking all the codes, there's nothing we can do, and your council knows that, right? And that's how this works. It's as
And if
simple
I-
as that. I know I'm what's that?
If I can interject.
Yes.
So the commercial business license was not renewed. That's what the intent to revoke was, the commercial business license. So
Okay.
that's what we were saying. How can we fix this? If he would like to reapply for home occupation, then those conditions have to be met for the home occupation. So what you're kind of doing tonight is approving or denying the renewal of the commercial business license.
Gotcha.
It's not in code. So we were trying to figure out other options or how to mitigate that. So if he wanted to reapply for a home occupation, but he has to
Meet
abide by
the home occupation code, as I've been stating. Correct. And that's why I asked the question in a roundabout way, can you meet that?
But tonight, it's all about the commercial
Commercial.
license in a residential home.
Yeah. So as long as you can meet that, I don't see what the big deal is.
About
If
the
you
home.
can't, right.
Right.
But it is in a residential zone, you're not going to be, you know, it can't be commercial use.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I mean, the only question I would have is that you guys have said now that no employees in the house. And like I said, they're not engaged in business in the house. And that's how all food trucks operate, right? We're not gonna,
Well, it actually says only persons who are bona fide residents of the premises shall be engaged in the occupation.
exactly, in the home occupation, yeah.
So,
Which they wouldn't be engaged in the
I mean,
home.
to me, that reads, we might need a legal definition on this, but to me, that means that the only people that can be involved in occupation have to preside in that home.
But it wouldn't fit because you're not operating the business out of your
Of your
house.
Exactly, and that's why there's a section in there about mobile food vendors, right?
Right.
So I think we either need to look at our code and put some exceptions in there, or, because we can't approve it,
We can't approve a commercial, but you can apply for a
but it doesn't fit.
home business.
He can't apply for a home occupation because what he's
Doesn't-
doing isn't out of his home. So, and I don't know, the last meeting, I don't know if anybody asked this, I don't know if I just missed it, but why do you need a business license in Plain City if you don't operate in Plain City?
Because you have to
I
buy
know,
a business
sometimes
license.
you would be in the city, I remember you saying that, a lot of the times you're in Cache County, but why do you need a business license in Plain City?
My counsel probably can answer this a
And
little
I'm
bit.
sorry, I might have missed it last time, I
No,
don't.
no, you're good.
He needs a business license from somewhere, and he lives in Plain City, so that's the most obvious place to get the business license.
Or the commissary, right. That's what I,
It sounds like there can be an independent review of the home occupation application. At this point, that's not what's on the agenda, and so it can't be denied or approved by the city council today or by the city. And I think that just is kind of where Stacy is going. At this point, we're reviewing a commercial license and whether that should be renewed or not. And I think that's the only decision the city council can make today. Everything else is just discussion, where we can't really make a decision on a home occupation license. So obviously, you're welcome to submit an application for a home occupation license, and you can work with city officials on kind of building your business going forward to come into conformance with that. I think that would be a topic for another day for the city council, only because it's not on the agenda. And I think it actually first starts as an administrative discussion with our business licensing employee. So I just for, a caution to not go beyond the agenda today, we just discussed whether to renew a commercial license, not grant or deny a home occupation license.
Yep.
Like I said before, I don't think we can, and it's nothing against you. I would love to see your business grow.
me too. I'd like to have
But-
4 or 5.
Nothing fits the code, and if we approve it, if someone else comes in and applies for the same thing, we're gonna have the same problem, and it could be, well, you let this go, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can just keep looking at, I don't know.
Well, hopefully,
Making some exceptions in our code, I don't know.
Well, he said
hopefully, as Brandon stated, you can make it work, and I stated as well, you can make it work with the home occupation. So,
Well, let's take a look at what we're here for, the review of a commercial business license. We have, any motions on that?
Well, before we make a motion, I'd like to comment that I think this city council and actually the last city council are actually very business friendly. I agree with Jan, I agree with Luigi, I'm sure these two also agree with me. We'd love to see your business grow and get bigger. We just have to make it fit somehow. We have to work with you to be able to make it work. And so, but going back to what we're reviewing tonight, I'll make a motion to deny the review of the commercial business license renewal. And we'll just start there, and maybe we can work together to see what we can do to help you out elsewhere. But I think we have to deny the commercial business license today.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
Yeah, one last note, I would say that there are a lot of cities that do commercial business licenses for food trucks. I mean, pretty much every food truck that I know, and I know a lot of food trucks, it all is under commercial business license because the city looks at where you're operating from, not where you park your trucks.
That's why I asked why you need a business license in Plain City,
Yeah.
because you operate all over the place, but mainly in Cache County, but.
And don't you have to buy a business license every event you go to? Usually.
There are special events that get the business licenses for you.
For you.
So like county fairs,
Yeah.
city days, all of them have the business licenses. The only thing I need the business license for is when I'm not going to an event.
Right.
I'm going to park, I'm going, something like
Somewhere.
that. But yeah, as we've stated from the state code last time, we only need one business license, and it
Right.
covers the whole state. But like my council said, that this is where I live, this is where I have my house, this is where I park my trailers, so.
I'm gonna look.
We'll
We're gonna
try
get
to-
this figured out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next one, conditional final of the S-curve commercial. Dan, you want to make some comments on that? We do have letters from Dan and our civil engineer.
Yeah, we're asking for a conditional final for the S-curve commercial, and that, the final thing that he had to do was put the sidewalk in on the curve on 2600, starting at 3000 west, and then heading east, and that would be on the south side of the road. And so for the commercial sidewalk, and he had to get that completed for the IAC building coming in. So, and he finally got that done. So we're asking for a conditional.
Okay, and Dan, I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight, but what about the striping? Has that been
I was just
done?
gonna ask that.
Yes, the
Thank you.
striping is a part of the senior development that is just east of the commercial lot. And so UDOT is keeping a close eye on that, and myself as well. And we've been asked to hold permits on the senior development until the striping is completed.
Okay.
So one permit snuck through, so back in December. So at that point, okay, well, we'll go ahead and, because UDOT they said that if it continues, they will barricade off that road, that access, and same with Nelson Homes as well.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, they want it striped as much as everybody else does.
All right,
Yeah.
that's dangerous.
Jed, you read my mind, and thanks for asking that, because I know there's a lot of concerned individuals on Facebook from our community and others that drive that road. And I've had the opportunity, we drive it a lot, but I drove it the other day with Dan, in fact, looking at some projects, and it definitely needs some striping there. So thanks for looking into that, Dan. I know there's 3 or 4 different players you're working with there to try to get it done, and sometimes that can be hard, but
Yeah. Good.
I'll move to approve the conditional final acceptance of the S-curve commercial, as Dan talked about.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right. That brings us to approval of business licenses.
I love to see when the fireworks companies start popping up. We're getting close.
Does anybody have any questions on 'em?
Nope, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the business licenses as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries. All right. Let's see.
Pay the bills.
Now we have our bills, approval of warrant registry.
What's this it's 11383, the Pro Edge Technologies, the fixed microphones, is that these? Okay,
Especially mine, right?
yeah.
weren't they supposed to fix any issues we had for free? Wasn't that part of our contract?
That was the other people, I think.
Oh. Gotcha.
This is the new company, and they're good.
The old company didn't.
Okay, well, if there's no questions, I move to approve the warrant register for February 19th, 2026 to February 28th, 2026.
Second.
Do a roll call on this, so
Yep.
start down here.
Yes.
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 Okay, very good. Council reports. Who wants to start? Let's move down to Adam first, okay?
All right. Well, first off, once again, congratulations to Mile Lamb. 600 out of how many million?
130.
That's pretty cool. The way you said it at first, it was pretty astonishing, but then when you said it again, I actually connected the dots, and I was like, wow,
I think the first number I said was 30 million, and then I read it again, and it was 130.
it's crazy. Well, even your first one was crazy. Good job, young man. I only have a couple of things tonight. I attended 3 different meetings. One with UDOT. Every year they have a meeting to inform all the stakeholders around. I think we need to get those guys back out here to fix these mics. To go over the projects for the year, all their future and current projects they have. It was a good meeting to go over. There's not anything major in this area. There's a website you can go to, stipsudot.utah.gov, if you would like to look that up if you're a nerd like I am with the road networks in the area. The one thing that I did want to talk about just for a minute is SR 177. Does there anybody know? No, you guys don't know? Nobody knows UDOT's roads. It's the Davis Corridor in Davis County. I believe there's a different name for it as it moves on north to Weber County, but it's the Legacy Highway that's eventually going to make its way through Weber County and up here past just south of the Willard Bay. Currently, they are going, this spring, they'll go out to construction from the Clinton border to 1900 North. And then from there to 4000 West, they are working on the environmental, which means that one's probably, I don't know, you can't get them to quote it, so you can't quote me 2 to 3 years out on the construction on that phase, depending on property acquisition and things they find out. And then from 4000 to Willard Bay, that one's even further out, and it's a lot bigger phase there, a lot more area to cover. So they didn't give a time frame on that, but that's where that one's at. I'm sure people are going to want to know kind of where that's at in the next several years as it comes through our communities, and it will come right through Plain City eventually on the current plan. You can look that up on Wasatch Front Regional Council's website or UDOT's as well. Speaking of Wasatch Front Regional Council, I attended 2 of their meetings last week. One where they go over all the projects all the communities submit for the year for funding. From this part of the process, they just went over all of them and made all the stakeholders aware. The next phase is to review the projects and then eventually start awarding them out. Plain City doesn't have anything on the docket this year. I know in the past Dan's got a few that he's working on that we're currently working on, and then some that we're waiting on. But this year we don't have anything, but there's no major projects even in this area from other entities. UDOT has a few for the interchanges, and that's about it worth talking about for our community, adding some turning lanes and things. And then the other meeting was just a 101 Wasatch Front Regional Council that talked about their process, so that was it.
I did see a map where they were planning on doing something on 2600, including putting in a bike path. Was that incorrect?
I didn't see that, so I don't know exactly where that is in their plans. Is that UDOT?
Yeah, that was UDOT.
I don't know. Dan, do you have any info?
No, on 2600 North, there was a map that they put out that there was going to be some sort of work on 2600 North, all the way down to the T intersection where the state road turns south. And
Costly garage.
yeah, there. And so I asked them about what improvements they were making, and that they said that they were gonna be putting in a bike path plus something else, and to ask your city council. And I was like, well, I'm on the city
Interesting.
council.
Yeah, they didn't say.
And I don't know what you're doing. And they're like, oh, well,
Who was it?
I'll get you the information.
Yeah, please do. I'll find out more. That's interesting. Yeah, they didn't talk about it. And it was current projects that they were gonna start working on and/or were working on, so you would've thought they would've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get me the info and I'll find out, and I can report back. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
All right, as always, the America 250 Utah, we had a meeting on Tuesday. I've got more slides that I can get out to you. I've also got promotional items that I can show the members of the council that are up here who are interested, that we can order. They're also really pushing for dates. They want to start advertising what we're doing for the 4th of July and throughout the rest of the year to celebrate America's 250th birthday. I know Colette is busy right now, and that the 4th of July planning is not top priority, but they are really hounding me for dates. So if we can even pin down that this is our general plan, so I can get them info so that they can start announcing that this is what we're doing to celebrate America 250, they'll be happy for giving us money. But there's going to be a Western Weber CTC board meeting next Tuesday, and a Weber County Emergency Managers meeting on next Thursday at 2. I'll be listening into that as I'm picking my daughter up from school. And then next month is the CERT training. If you haven't signed up for that, you'll have to do all of the online classes first. I did reach out to the Liberty Bible Church. He is certified at California. So all of the online training, that's national. So if you've done the online courses, that's all throughout the country. But you have to take the Weber specific hands-on training. So we are trying to get him to come and do that, as well as the local LDS churches and local leaders. I got Councilmember Jenkins the information so that he can get it to his contacts.
Yep.
And then also just super congratulations to Miles Lamb. That was just absolutely amazing what he did. The Western Weber CTC's whole thing is grit, and he absolutely demonstrated grit, working 6 years to earn every single one of those 141 merit badges, including his Eagle Scout, in 6 years, thousands of hours, and there's only 644 that have done that. So big round of applause to him.
Thanks for rating it, too.
Also, congrats to Miles. He's been a great mentor for my son through the Eagle Scout program, and so congrats to him. Weber mosquito abatement. Took me a minute to think about that. That meeting is always canceled in February, so I did not go to that meeting. But as the weather starts to warm up, we're gonna see a lot of mosquitoes. Obviously, everybody knows that. My wife got her first mosquito bite last night and pointed it to me like 4 times. So I want everybody to know to always just call up mosquito abatement or get on their website. It's very easy to just put in where your address is, and they'll come and spray within a day or 2. So the more times you report, the more often they'll come out here and spray. So at the end of the year, they always give us a report for all the requests, and Plain City and Hooper always seem to be the top 2. So keep reporting, and we'll keep getting the sprayers out here. Then also, I went to the WACOG meeting. That stands for Weber Area Committee of Governments. That was Monday. The legislature is still, our state legislative body is still in session now, so we didn't have much time to kind of discuss much. It was more of an update for what's going on at the legislature. But, Jared, there was a little short conversation about DADUs, or what they also call, instead of AADUs, which I think we call them, they call them internals, there for the WACOG group. There was a short discussion about it. It was very interesting because some of the other cities in our county, Hooper specifically, and then has a lot of them. We talked about how a lot of ours are unofficial or illegal, you know, DADUs. I really appreciate what North Ogden is doing. North Ogden is trying to do a program where they're making a road to legality. And it's kind of just doing a building and electrical check-in and kind of seeing what we can help change to then make these DADUs legal. So anyways, we're going to talk about it more at the next WACOG meeting next month, but just something to be thinking about. And then one other update that I have. So I have a friend that works in traffic science, sales, and here at the city council, we've gotten a lot of reports about speeding in town. Lately, it's been on the road 3475 West. So this friend of mine was willing to go hook one of his sensors up to one of the signs there on the street, and he did kind of a traffic study for us. Real quick. And this is, I only have the northbound information that he sent me, but he did a half day northbound and then a half day southbound just by moving the sensor around. And here's a few observations he made. This is specifically 3475 West. And the report was from February 11th. Average speed is 27 miles per hour. Number of drivers driving over the 5 miles per hour over the speed limit is what is, by traffic scientists deemed acceptable. So the number of drivers driving 5 over is 142 out of 844. So that's 16% of drivers were driving more than 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. There were only 2 really, what he classified as really extreme speeds. One of them was at 61 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
After 9:30 p.m., that was on February 10th. And then one of them was 52 miles an hour after 7 a.m. this morning. So his comment is, no matter what speed limit we put on there, those extreme speeders are not going to slow down no matter what. Very unfortunate. But the point is 85% of the drivers at 32 miles per hour, which, nobody's going to like me to say this, but this is traffic science. He says 85% of the drivers were 32 miles per hour, which suggests that speed limit is too slow on that street. Of course, that would take more traffic studies, but that to make that suggestion. But that is the traffic study that he did, just one quick, simple day there with his sensors. So anyways, just want to bring it up. There is a problem with speeding. There were only 2 that were extreme on that particular day, but the average is 27 miles an hour, which is 2 over the speed limit, posted speed limit currently. So that's the average, is 27 miles per hour. So I'd like to continue doing some of these studies around town. Dan, I've given him your number, but we'll see what happens. You already have those signs? Yes. I'm aware he brought that up and said that we do have some of these signs, but they're a little outdated compared to the, okay. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, this one's a little bit more discreet, hard to see for people that are, most people don't even notice what they are hanging on a sign, so.
That'd be cool.
Okay, so.
Is there one on 1975?
Yes, but that one is an old one that I can't pull that off of.
Put one there and
4,100.
So anyways, that's the end of my report. I just want to say over half are within the tolerated speed limit of 25 to 30, which, traffic science tolerates 5 over.
That's Good information, thanks.
Good information.
Really good information, and for those of you that think that we don't listen when you come from public comments, that gentleman, we listened and
Yep.
we're trying to analyze it and make some sense. But thanks for doing that.
Yep, absolutely.
Colette is underway with volleyball. She was working on track and baseball and Easter and the 4th of July. So, very busy. I do not know if she ever sleeps. I know she calls me at all times of the day. Sometimes at 6 or
That
7
means
in
you
the
don't sleep
morning.
either.
Nope, I don't, but I don't have to work as hard as her during the day. But yeah, she is a go-getter, very busy.
She'd love some volunteers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Plug that
Always
out.
looking for a volunteer, or, 50.
My turn?
Yep.
I have one question. Are all the cameras that we've put up, all the new cameras in the parks, are they
Working?
working and good to go?
And recording.
Brings me my next thing. I think it'd be a great idea to share access to our cameras to Ogden ATAC. So,
Oh.
I don't know if you guys know what ATAC is.
Absolutely.
Explain.
Please explain.
It's a real-time crime center located at Ogden Police Department, so it's a huge resource for law enforcement. Just one resource that they provide is if there was ever a big incident, let's say at one of our parks, all they would have to do is pull up the cameras and they can provide law enforcement with real-time information on what's going on, what they see,
And what they need.
and what they need, instead of trying to track back on what happened with law enforcement to, pull up the cameras. It's just a great resource for law enforcement. And so I've talked to them, and they said it's super simple, just get IT to, I don't know how all that works.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I don't know if it's something we have to vote on, or,
Well, I mean.
I don't know.
Any legal ramifications of this?
No, this would fall under GRAMA, which is record sharing. And when you share records between government entities for public safety reasons, there's really no legal bar. You just get permission from both entities, Ogden City and Plain City, and we're good to go.
Perfect.
So our mayor can make that decision on behalf
So I
of
know
the
I
city.
brought that up before, as like we should, once either done, we should share it with Weber County.
Yeah.
Along with these guys too.
Along with-
Yeah,
Do-
it's just a great resource, and there's so much stuff they do. This is just one little thing. Yep.
Do most, if not all, cities also share that information too?
No.
Most don't?
No.
So I've talked to several, and I was surprised who don't. And I don't know why, but
Interesting, yeah.
there's countless cases that I know of that I won't go into any details where they've helped a lot.
Yeah.
It can't hurt.
Yeah, not for it.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that's all I have.
Good.
Cool.
Quick overview from the mayor here. We are pursuing a planner for the city, part-time planner. We have had, we feel like we've got 2 good candidates that we want to interview. Is that correct, Diane? Okay. So Diane is just setting up the interview process, but the candidates look good thus far, which is exciting, and I think it'll be helpful to all of us if and when that happens. Quick update on 3600. I think we're scheduled to move forward with construction June of 2026, last estimate I heard. So that's coming this year. 2200, I want to thank our attorney on this one. Brandon had a discussion with Weber County, and we're kind of going back to letting Weber County figure out the access and the acquisitions, and then once they do that, then we can look at the annexation aspect of it, which I think, as a city, we should be comfortable with, because we don't
Yes.
do a lot of eminent domain projects in this city. So, thank you for suggesting that. It sounded like a good option.
Yeah, I think just for an update, the ball is in my court at this point to propose those changes to the current draft of the interlocal. So I need to make those changes and present them to Weber County. Really, it just flips the order of events.
Yes.
The county finishes the project and the acquisitions, and then the
And we'll
annexation.
take it.
Okay.
So I'll propose that to Weber County. It sounds like they're going to have it looked at in a work session with the commissioners, just to see if they can get kind of a good indication that that's what the county commissioners would like to do, and then we'll bring it to the city council for approval.
Was there a pulse on the timing? If you were worried about the road actually getting paved, do we know?
Well, I think that's still gonna progress. I mean, as far as the road base going down and the asphalt, Weber County will do that. We're making it a little bit wider. We'll have to pay for our portion of
Right.
widening it. But that's gonna proceed without the interlocal agreement really signed, from what I understand.
Yeah, and we can sign the interlocal agreement without making the annexation happen up front. So
Right.
it's essentially an agreement that the annexation will happen later.
That's
Not
right.
until the conditions are met, which is they need to finish that road and pave it,
That's right.
and then the annexation will move forward.
Yep, okay.
Okay. Nothing to report on North Plains City Road. I think acquisitions are being done there. It's moving forward on schedule. Dan? General plan, you all know about the meeting. Please put in your calendars. We all need to be there if we can.
Next
I know some of
Thursday.
you may have conflicts, but it's our kickoff meeting, and it'd be great if we had all of us and the planning commission.
Well, Jared's bringing the treats, he said, so.
What's that?
Jared's bringing the treats. No? Oh, I thought you said that in your, no?
Did I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'll volunteer my wife, right?
Whatever you gotta do, you know?
Sounds like the volunteer train is being
And the last thing I want to bring up is, I went to the WACOG meeting and, they discussed the transfer station. Weber County's still not ready to go on that. They're having a really difficult time. We'll see what they come up with, but they were not ready to move forward with an interlocal agreement yet. So.
Okay.
One last thing, Brandon, you saw the Weber County interlocal agreement on animal services. I think you commented on that.
I did, yes. As to legality and form, it looks great. We just have to decide whether it's the terms we want for the city. Essentially, the price, the type of service, if that's something the city wants to take advantage of, move forward. But the agreement is in proper legal form to move forward, so.
Should we put that on the next meeting, just to look at that, so make a decision on it?
So we'll know. Perfect.
Okay.
With that, are we going to do it as a discussion item on some of these things? I know we've had a couple of conversations where, are we gonna do a discussion and a motion in the same night? Or some of these topics that we might need 2 times to talk about, that we don't expect to make a motion? Does that make sense? Because we've talked about it a little bit. I don't know where we landed on some of these things. Some of the things with development, we have to move forward that night, but
Well, I think when we get to the interlocal agreement on 2200, we probably need a work meeting or something like
yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe we need one on the animal it seemed pretty clear cut to me.
I don't know if we do. I'm just asking because it made me think about it as
I
all.
think that one's simple.
Yeah,
It wasn't real detailed, so,
just to keep it in mind as you're putting the agenda together.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I think we're to adjournment. Anybody want to make a motion?
Well, I did have a question for you. Are we going to get together and, like, set out our goals, our plans for the year? What are major projects we want to focus on as a city? I know we had been discussing it, but I don't know if we're going to.
That's good, I'm glad you brought that up. We really should figure that out. We need to do it for sure.
Yeah, I don't want it to fall to the wayside again.
Yeah, yeah. Let me give that some thought, and we'll get back to you on that, okay?
Thank you. Go for it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.